Next up is the mall Santa that knocks out your enemies and then runs away.
Yeah.
Which is a fun image to think about. I think of him swinging the bag around.
Yes.
Like a mace.
Yes.
And smacking people.
It makes me think of Modern Family.
Yes. That was my inspiration. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I put Noel here just because like it still has that Christmassy feel. And it is cute, and I like all of the people in it. And there are some really there's some humorous moments that they do, because she's never left the North Pole, so you get that kind of whole antic type of thing, which is always kind of funny.
The kid in King Arthur's court kind of thing.
Yeah, we're I don't know where I am, so I don't know how to act.
Bring
Why
me
am
another.
I so hot? I've only lived in the North Pole, and yeah, so that's always pretty funny.
Yeah. That formula always works.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always pretty funny.
Yeah.
I put Rise of the Guardians here just because, I do the Sandman's so cute. But I do like what they did with Jack Frost. His story is actually pretty cute and touching. I like this movie. It's a fun little adventure. It makes you feel good. Santa's pretty badass.
Pretty cool, yeah.
He's
a cool
pretty
Santa.
cool in this, man.
You put tattoos on Santa Claus?
That's pretty cool.
I'm in.
That's pretty cool. So I like that.
What was I missing from really Santa Claus all these years?
Tattoos.
Ripped, super sick tats.
Yeah, and
all
he
right.
is ripped. He is
cool.
ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that too. And the ideas in the story are actually pretty neat and different. And so I like that too. I put Polar Express here too, just because I have a soft spot in my soul for Tom Hanks, and I love this book. So I was when this movie first came out, I was super excited because I love this book so much, and it makes you feel Christmas, and just the whole the ringing of the bell, and it's just such a cute story. But I do agree that the animation is questionable.
I always think of the close-up of that one anal retentive kid who's
oh my God, yes.
bullying them.
Yes.
Who sounds like Joe from Digimon. But way more high pitched.
Yeah, he's obnoxious. I put Holiday in Handcuffs here because I watch this every Christmas, just because I think it's super cute. I also really like Melissa Joan Hart's character of she's the artist, she's the black sheep in the family. Her parents kind of don't they don't approve.
Yeah.
Of the path she has chosen for herself. So she's just doing her own thing, and it's just a fun one. Exactly. This is another very Hallmarky kind of movie where you know the formula, you know what's gonna happen, you know they're gonna fall in love at the end. I put Scrooged here because I think it's pretty fun. It's still one of those ones that makes me chuckle, and I don't mind the take on it because it's different. They set it in now.
Yeah, at the time, modern.
Yeah, in the modern day, so I don't mind that.
And the fact that Bill Murray, or 90% of Bill Murray's ending scene, his monologue, is all off the cuff. He just wrote it. I'm
just,
that's
it makes
good
it kind of
stuff.
special. And I do like Bill Murray, and so I definitely enjoy this movie. It makes me feel good too. And it's a classic tale. So I put the newest Grinch here too, just 'cause I think it's super cute. I like Benedict Cumberbatch a lot. And I like the reindeer. We talked about this. I like the reindeer, and I like his little neighbor friend, which is so adorable, and definitely a different take. And I don't mind at all that the lesson that is there is that it's nice to be around people who care about you at Christmas, family or chosen family. I don't mind that either. I was that's they have all the classic Grinch stuff. His heart grows 3 sizes, and he steals Christmas and then feels bad and brings it back and apologizes, and all the stuff that the Grinch always has. And,
I do laugh every time when he gives Max the present, and then he's squeaking it for 40 minutes, and he goes,
"That's gonna get old."
Yeah, exactly. I'm yep. I feel that.
Yeah.
Because immediately I was I'm already annoyed, and the fact that he called to me, I'm hey, it's me. We did a thing.
Yeah. So that's really cute.
That's cute.
So there's some really cute little aspects, and I really like that movie. I thought it was pretty charming. I put Just Friends here because this movie is great. It is great, and it still makes me feel really good. And I like Ryan Reynolds, and I like the girl in it too, whose name I don't know.
Amy Smart.
Yep. Is that her name?
Yep.
And I love Anna Faris.
She's hilarious.
forever. Yeah, like she is so gold.
It's like they told her to overact, and like hey, Amy, or not Amy, Anna, can you dial it to 11? And she dialed it to 11,
15.
got a connecting cable and hooked it to another one and dialed that to 11.
Yeah.
Like she's having a lot of fun.
She has so much fun. And I love the mom in this movie. She is so funny. Like, it's a charming movie. It makes you feel good. It's about, he learns a lesson and he learns about family, and it has some classic, like, little things like that, and it's got the cute little romance, so that's fun too. And returning to your roots and all that kind of thing. Like, it's, so I'll always watch Just Friends. I watch Just Friends not during Christmas too,
just because,
so because it's
funny.
just fun. I put Deck the Halls here because it's something that I throw on just to, like, wrap presents or
fill the void.
Yeah, I'll just throw it on while I'm, doing whatever. I like Matthew Broderick and I like Danny DeVito too, and it's like we talked about before. I think like they really started out with a concept. They had a good message. It was there, and then because both Danny DeVito and Matthew Broderick are very funny people.
Sure.
They are very funny,
yeah.
And when you have these people in your movie, I feel like you get that urge to be like, okay, they gotta be funny. They gotta do funny things. They gotta do.
How do we do funny?
Yeah, like let's make these funny antics.
We'll throw them around. Physical comedy. It's great.
And like they are very fun, but like it does lose a little bit of its charm right during the middle, and then it brings, and like you put Kristen Chenoweth in a movie where she can sing to me, I'll listen. That's fine.
All right.
She got a great voice and she's so cute and I love her. So yeah, I put this here. I put Jingle All the Way here too. This is like, it's great. I mean, we'll always watch this movie. Mm-hmm. It's not a great movie, but it's a great movie. I'll always watch it. Like, I don't know. It's silly and ridiculous, and I think I've watched it a couple of times because we watched it once together, and then I threw it on while I was rapping. And then I put the original Miracle on 34th Street here. Yeah. And Bishop's Way here because they are classics. They are still really good. They're cute Christmas movies. Yeah. And I have good memories of, like, it's a moment that we shared together when we were, like, one of our first Christmases together. So it's, I have good memories of that one. I put Nightmare Before Christmas here because it's both Christmas and Halloween. So I still will watch it because it gives you that Christmassy feel, and I love this movie. It's great. It's a good movie. But like it's also one of those movies that I will watch anytime too. Like I don't have to watch it at Halloween or Christmas. I will watch it whenever because it's a good movie.
It's pretty charming.
So it's good. And then
like that's the Bishop's Wife again.
Oh yeah.
Because I put two things.
Yeah. And that is the Mall Santa. It's somebody in the face for you.
Yep.
It leaves you feeling good.
Leaves you feeling good. Which ironically for my version of it, starting I have Love Actually, which doesn't exactly leave you feeling great.
It does.
It does, but it's a lot.
It's a journey.
Yeah, which is actually
get there.
That's actually the reason why it's lower on this tier is just because I'm not always up for going through that roller coaster. And that's why Ernest Saves Christmas is a little higher because it's a safe bet. It's a safe bet. Christmas is about a very specific emotion, or a couple of specific emotions, and like you seek it out, and you got to know where to find it, and you know where you can find it. Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yes, I mean it's in the title.
Yeah, and I'll come back. I'll come back to that ideology a couple different times, and then I have Arthur Christmas, which is in that same vein, like. You want that specific emotion, you'll get it here, but it's also modernized fairly well.
Yeah.
Like I actually think it's pretty.
I really, really enjoy it.
I think it's pretty well updated. I like the idea of different Santas having different takes on how to do the job.
Yeah, that's a generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that maybe it's a different idea that maybe the best person for the job to make stuff for kids is a kid, or is closer to being a kid than an 800,000-year-old man.
Yeah. Or like it's not about being super efficient or
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
There's
more
a
than
little
just
more
a
than
job.
that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then I have the Santa Claus. Just because that also is a different. That was probably the first movie I ever saw about just Santa.
Santa, yeah.
In every other movie I had seen, Santa was a guest.
He's there.
He was around, or they would talk about him. But I'd never seen a movie as a kid that was explicitly just about Santa. And it wasn't even just that. You know, he takes you on a ride through all this other stuff. You actually see him learn to do how to become Santa and how the best way to, you know, kind of apply to it.
Yeah.
Then Christmas Chronicles, which is a movie where Santa Claus takes you on a ride through the whole thing, and Kurt Russell
is a golden
is
Santa.
a damn good Santa.
Yes, he is.
Like I'll take or leave the kids.
Yeah,
they're fine or whatever.
They're fine.
But really, the guy that steals the show is Santa.
I mean, yeah.
He's
you
really
put Kurt Russell
good.
in your movie,
And you have him sing like a whole jailhouse
song.
musical
Yes,
number.
It's so good.
Like
Ugh.
the only way you could have made
Bless
that
it.
better is if you gave him like that Elvis Presley Blue Christmas song.
Oh my god.
Because I love that song.
That's a great song.
Yeah, it's a great song. I always think of my dad with that song.
Yeah.
And then I have Die Hard. All right, so that's fine. That's okay. I don't think it's. Well, look where it's at. It's not up at the absolute top.
No.
Everyone will sit there and tell you that, oh, well, that's the ultimate Christmas movie. It's really not, though. At the end of the day, like, and my reasoning for it is just simply that, can I watch it with the family? No. Then I guess it isn't that great of a Christmas movie. If you have to select who, it should be about a family coming together to sit down and watch a Christmas movie.
You
And
can't,
you can't
really
do that with Die
Scrooged
Hard.
either.
You
To be
can,
fair.
but
more than Die Hard.
you have
but-
to have an age limit
Yeah,
on Scrooged.
yeah.
Or you have to have the right kid where you're kind of like, is that joke gonna go over their head?
Right, they're
I
not
hope
gonna
so.
understand that. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just let that fly. Yeah, Die Hard. I think it has all the right elements for a Christmas movie. It's just kind of subdued.
By the terrorists.
Yeah, well, not by the terrorists, by McClane, because he's trying to be a good dad for his daughter during a hard time on the holidays. Like, that can be a hard time. He's just trying to get home to his kid, and the absolute worst timing. The absolute worst time. Do the terrorists represent anything about Christmas? No, they're people with guns.
They want to steal stuff.
They want to steal stuff. That's kind of
And
all
kill
that it was.
people.
The only reason that they're there on that specific time is because they figured, like, well, we've scoped the place and there's not going to be that much security on Christmas, so
And actually,
we'll do it on Christmas.
and
I guess.
actually, like, as far as like the police are concerned, Christmas is actually one of the, sadly, Christmas is one
Pretty
of
high
the
rate of break-ins.
of crime in general. So
Mhm.
like the odds of them being busy or unable to get there as fast are higher.
Yeah.
Still
And it has
think
Carl
it's Christmas
Winslow.
movie. It does.
It's got Carl Winslow.
Who is still a cop.
He's he's just gonna be in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
This
Still a cop.
Family Matters. It don't matter. So yeah, I don't think that it's. Would I go around sporting a Die Hard Christmas sweater? No. But like, I would watch it on Christmas. The first time I moved into, or me and my family moved into our home in Boring, like that was like, it was right around the holidays. We didn't have a whole lot of stuff unpacked.
Sure.
So like, that was one of the first movies I found. I went, this is kind of a I'm gonna put it on. And then I was pleasantly surprised at how much more it had in common with Christmas than I initially had in mind. So it's kind of a weird pseudo tradition ish for a
Sure.
couple of years. There was a year where we didn't do it at all. And then I have Just Friends, because I also think that if you took the time for that movie and placed it somewhere else in the year, it's a different movie.
It just hits a little harder
On Christmas.
around the holidays.
Around holidays, yeah. Then you have The Grinch by Jim Carrey, which, like, God bless that man for trying so hard
I
to
love
make that
that
movie
movie.
work. There are parts of that movie that definitely work just fine, but then there's like the guy sticking his tongue in a dog's ass.
Oh, well, he just kisses it, but
The implication is there. Dog didn't like it.
No, he didn't.
Either way, is it really? Does that joke really work?
No, it doesn't really land.
It's kind of. It's oddly inappropriate.
That's not what I remember about that movie.
No. I remember Jim Carrey because he's trying so hard.
He does.
There's so much of that. Like there's so many quotes that are just him.
Yeah. Pretty much all of them.
Pretty much all of them. Yeah. I mean, how many times have you run into somebody that does the whole Jerry duty, blackmail, chain letter, eviction notice? Like, there's so much of that movie. Yeah. It's similar to
that, or like the loathe entirely. Everybody knows that.
And like the ambition you have to have for a live action Grinch movie, like you could probably still cut the movie down a little bit, but like for the most part, I'm like, this is about as good as it possibly could be.
Yeah, and it's stuck to the story, like to their original too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then I have Home Alone 2, specifically 2, because 2 is not as good as 1, but it is a damn good Christmas movie.
Real good Christmas movie. I love that movie. I love both of those.
Him in the toy store, and like him being so selfless
turtle doves,
that he puts himself in danger again.
Yeah.
To try and catch these guys to try and save Christmas for sick kids. I'm like, well, damn, what a good kid.
Yeah.
I will overlook the fact that John Candy isn't in it.
Right.
I will overlook the fact that it's just basically copy pasting the first movie.
It is just in a different location.
And then I have It's a Wonderful Life. I can't help it. I don't have a whole lot of logic or reasoning for it.
I just like that movie, but you got to watch that movie all the way through for it to be a happily ever after type of movie.
Yeah, if you stop that movie at any point before, it's just a bad movie.
Really sad.
Yeah. Yeah, it turns around at the end.
It
makes you really appreciate stuff in a Christmas Carol kind of way, just differently.
Yeah. That's a good
one. Now we're getting to the top of the tops. This is the smell of a Christmas tree as you sit by the fire with hot chocolate.
Basically, these last 2 tiers, I would watch these movies no matter what forever.
Yeah.
I have both Grinches in here, both the original and
the cartoon.
The cartoon and the live action in this one. Just because, like, I mean, the Grinch is classic. And, like, the original cartoon is just so dang charming. It's so cute. And, like, with the way he slinks and slithers in the freaking song, it's so good. And it's just good. And it's a good story. Thanks, Dr. Seuss. Appreciate it. I have Mistletoes here because I love singing along to this movie. I will sing all the Christmas songs with it. It is super, super freaking cute. I like that it's a cappella. That makes me really happy. I like singing a cappella. I am a big theater nerd, so I love this movie. I think it's very cute, very charming. I put Arthur Christmas here because this movie just makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, and I cry. And like, it's just, I love the take on like the family. It's very family. And
which is essentially kind of what it's about, whether it's family or chosen.
Yeah. And and it's the understanding each other and the realization of like, maybe you're good at this, but this person's good at this, and maybe they're better suited for this, but you're best suited for this, and like, everybody has their own strengths, and everybody has something to add or lend to the table, and it's just so cute. And Arthur is such a good guy, and it's just so good. It's so cute. I love that movie. I've watched that movie twice already. I put the Santa Claus here because I have a lot of really good memories with my family and this movie. This is one we always watched, and it was the first like Santa Claus origin
focused,
that I ever saw. Like, I don't know, it's just cute. I just love the Santa Claus, and I like Tim Allen, and it's actually funny because Disney made an exception of hiring him.
Yeah, they were all like, we don't hire convicts. Like, that's not a thing that we do.
Yeah.
But for him, they were like,
exception, and it paid. It paid off. I have Klaus in this one as well. And Klaus is honestly interchangeable between the top tier and this tier.
I went back forth a couple of times.
Yeah, like this movie, it is so rare to find a movie that is new and becomes, at least for me, becomes an instant like Christmas classic where I will watch this movie every year and I cry every time, and it's so good. It is such a different story, and it's not what you expect at all. I think the animation is beautiful and original, and it's such a different take on Santa and about how Santa came to be, and it's just a gorgeous story. It's so good. Oh, it makes me cry thinking about it. I put Christmas Chronicles here because he is a fantastic Santa. Kurt Russell is a fantastic Santa, and this movie is very charming. And again, this is one that I'll watch this every year now. Like, they did a really good job. Okay, I also put Christmas Vacation here, but it is also interchangeable with the top tier as well, because I will always watch this movie. I have watched this movie. I think I've watched this movie 3 times already.
I was surprised when I came home one night and I was like, oh, were we watching this again?
I will watch this movie forever.
Not complaining. I was just surprised.
Yeah, like I love this movie. I quote this movie. I love this movie. Is interchangeable with the top tier for me because this is my favorite vacation movie. Is Christmas Vacation. I'll watch all the vacation movies, but this is the best one. This is my favorite one. Yeah. Everything is so funny. I love the aunt. The little old aunt, she's so cute. I love when they cut the turkey open and it's just bone ass dry. Like, it's so funny. Ugh. And like, who doesn't know, well, why is the carpet all wet? Todd.
I don't know, Margot. Yeah.
So good. I have Elf here as well because it is amazing. I love this movie, and like, even if you don't like Will Ferrell, I feel like this is a movie that is it's not Will Ferrell's comedy necessarily.
No.
Because his comedies are, you know, when you think of like any other movie like Anchorman or Step Brothers,
Semi-Pro,
yeah,
they have a very specific
type of humor.
Yeah.
And
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, like very specific.
Elf is not that.
No, Elf is not that. And it's so charming and it's so funny and it's very quotable. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you got some great people in this movie too.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown Christmas is also kind of one of those ones that I went back and forth on having it at the very top of here. Like, I will always watch this movie. I love Linus, and it's just such a charming little sweet movie. And I have It's a Wonderful Life on here too because it's very classic, and it's not one that I will always like that I have to watch. But it is a classic and it does make you feel good, but you gotta get through the whole thing. Most people, I would say majoritively, most people have at least heard a quote from this movie or seen this movie.
Buffalo gal, won't you come out tonight?
You have a lot of the same ones.
Yeah, I knew going into like the top 2 that we were going to be pretty similar. I have in my Christmas tree by the fire drinking calories, you have Tokyo Godfathers, which is actually pretty sweet also. It's 3 homeless people find a baby in a dumpster. Oh. So they try to find its mom, try to find its family on Christmas.
Oh.
But of course, but it's really heartwarming.
That's
it's
nice.
really sweet. It's really cute. I can't say too much more without ruining it for you. But it is very good. And there's not too many foreign animated Christmas movies. Mm-hmm. Like, how many can you honestly say that there are?
I'm sure there's more than we know of, but
good ones.
I'm sure there's more than we know of.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're probably still right. Then I have Elf. Similar fashion. Like, Will Ferrell is very hit or miss for me, but yeah, I don't think of this as a Will Ferrell movie. I just think of it as a kid in King Arthur's court. It's that same formula again. You take someone from one element and then you put them somewhere else.
Of their element.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's cute.
And it's cute. Yeah. Bye, buddy.
Hope you find your dad.
Bye, Mr. Narwhal. Then I have Klaus, which I also kind of contemplated putting up in the top tier because I really expected nothing out of that movie.
Yeah, and got so much.
Like Netflix they churn out so much crap all the time.
Yeah.
But it had but it had a very distinctive style to it. I was like, well, I mean that took effort. Like that's not nothing. So that there has to be something there. And then, you know, as we're watching it and I start recognizing all the voices, but also like I forget that they're doing voices later. I kind of just got engrossed into what they were doing and the characters. The choice of modern music was effective.
It was, yeah.
It didn't feel too weird.
Or
it actually
out of place,
it worked out okay. It was actually kind of clever. It was a good way to keep the energy going. White Christmas for me is like the best of the best. I like it more than It's a Wonderful Life. It's the best of the best, like not golden age, old timey Christmas movies. I love the setup. The music's great, and I'm also big into like theater, specifically dance. And there's a dance number in that, I swear to God, it's like 9 minutes long, or like, I'm like, I don't know where you breathe in this whole thing.
Where she taps her foot.
It's so fast. It's like a machine gun going off. Like, I don't know how these people, and also it's like, it's not like they got it in one take and nailed it and then just moved on.
Right.
They had to rehearse that for months, and then they performed it so many times, and they're like, well, we'll take the best of each one and stitch it together. But like, and then I have Edward Scissorhands, because that to me is a lot of movies. People will go through a Christmas movie checklist of like, well, it's got Santa, it takes place on Christmas, it's got X, Y, and Z to it. Edward Scissorhands, I mean, you can do that with it if you want. Like, it's got snow, presents, all that. Edward Scissorhands is also one of the ones though that like, for whatever, when I'm watching it, I'm like, this has such a feeling to it, like such a vibe to it of just like the spirit of Christmas that I can't not acknowledge it. You know?
It's a nice movie. Like it's a feel good movie for sure.
I will fight anybody, maybe not physically, but I'll fight anybody that says it is not a Christmas movie, because it totally counts. And also like Tim Burton in his element before he sold out. And then I have Krampus. Okay, so I talked earlier about like, oh, it's stupid how it's just with Bad Santa, like, oh, just take like Christmas is supposed to be wholesome and then turn it on its head. Well, there's a whole subcategory of like horror Christmas movies that try to do that same thing.
An actual folktale. This is an actual thing.
It is rooted in an actual thing, and it never forgets to be about Christmas.
No, they are celebrating Christmas.
They are celebrating it 100%.
Then they stop celebrating because terrible things are happening.
Yes. Well, and also the reason why is because they're not celebrating Christmas, or at least one person isn't. Yeah,
it was like they're either being greedy or that's really what it is. Usually like a greed thing.
Yeah, exactly. And the execution, especially at the end, like it is pretty comedic throughout the whole thing, because it is silly.
It is silly.
I think that they realize, they're like, I mean, I don't know how scary we can actually be. There's some genuinely good, like, oh god, but it is very well crafted. It takes a light touch, and it's PG-13. Like, there's not very many good PG-13 movies with horror elements to it, and there are a lot of Christmas movies that try to be like, oh, we're edgy because we're dark and horror and whatever. I'm like, but it's all you have is face value. It's like with Bad Santa. I'm like, you only have the gimmick. There's nothing else substantial to it. Like, I hate the original Black Christmas. I hate the remake they tried to do. And they're gonna try and do it again. Like, they're all terrible. Yeah. Purely because they're like, oh, well, let's just pervert Christmas and it'll be hilarious, in that kind of like, it's so bad it's good kind of way, but it's like, that's lazy. Yeah. This actually has like effort put into it. Christmas Story, it's hard to hate on that movie.
I think it's just it's just not one that I would always like pick.
No, not necessarily me either. I always don't know how to feel about one joke near the end of it. For the most part though, like, it does feel very real. Like, it does genuinely feel like I'm just in this kid's head for a little bit. But, like, the kid in the movie does feel like a real kid.
Yeah.
Because he wants a toy, and his little, like, Doug Funny style fantasies where everything is super exaggerated is hilarious, because that's very much how a kid fantasizes. It's in black and whites and extremes. And he gets mad, he hits other kids.
Sure.
Like, he has very, like, real emotions, and he acts like an actual kid. Don't really get that anymore. I always think to the Tim Burton Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and that stupid little kid who's like, he could run for Jesus. Like, I don't do nothing wrong. I'm just a perfect little angel. Like, shut up. This is not how kids are. This is not how real kids are. And then I have Gremlins. For if you remember, like, the left is my top of that specific row. I have Gremlins as the best of them because it manages to combine that, like, vibe that Edward Scissorhands has of Christmas with also, like, plot elements that are important to Christmas also. And I think it also, like, this is maybe me reading a little too much into it, but I also feel like Gremlins commentates on a very specific tragedy that happens on Christmas, which is, we got you a puppy.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't ready for that puppy.
Yeah. Oh, that puppy's expensive.
Oh, it's a nightmare. That's kind of Gremlins.
It is. It's just,
that kid was not ready. Like, he already had a dog. Yeah, they had to exaggerate it for the effect of the movie to really hit you. But, like, there's a lot of animals that get abandoned or returned or whatever, and, like, they have emotions too, damn it. Like, especially, like, maybe I started thinking about it because of quarantine and lockdown, and people were adopting
a lot of animals
and then giving them up once they went back to work because they were like, oh, I actually can't take care of this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's a similar thing with Gremlins where I'm like, but that's a real thing that happens, and it can cause damage to the people around you in your home, and, like, emotional turmoil too. And I cannot think of another movie that does that. All right, let's talk about the best of the best. We're talking Maximum Christmas.
Maximum Christmas. Yeah. So I have a Christmas story here because this is actually the first movie that I moved. This is, like, one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. No one will change my mind. It, like, I've heard so many people like, oh, it's not a good movie, it's a bad movie, it's, you know, it's stupid, it's whatever. I'm like, no, but it's Christmas. It's a family at Christmas time.
Sometimes that's interesting enough.
Yeah, it's like, we all had this, maybe not this exact story, but every single one of us at some point when we were little had that one toy, that one thing that we were like, oh, if I just get that, I will have the best. I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else. I need no other gifts. I just want this one thing, and then I will be good to go. And let's be real, mall Santas are scary, and all of you have all of your parents have a picture of you crying on Santa's lap because he was frightening.
Yeah.
All of you.
Yeah.
So
It's too much.
It's too much. And, I mean, there are parts of the movie where I'm like, I don't really like this part, but it's not a part I pay attention to. Like, I'm not a huge fan of when the little boy eats like a piggy, where he's, show me how the piggies eat. It's so gross.
That part's weird. It goes on too long.
Yeah.
That part's weird.
But like, every time I watch it though, all I can think about is this kid had so much fun doing that. He had a great time of shoving that food in his face. You can tell by his laugh. It's so funny. And, like, when the kid, everything, I just love this movie. The end of story, point, period, exclamation point. I love this movie. It's just a good story.
It doesn't have like a traditional 3-act structure, but again, like, you don't necessarily need that.
I have both Home Alones here because I love these movies. They are the only 2 Home Alones that exist. There are no other ones. That's it. Just the 2.
Well, then where does Scarlett Johansson come from?
Somewhere else. Not that movie. No, there are no other Home Alones.
She came from North.
But, like, these are just classic. And we watched, like, cute little behind the scenes, like, how Home Alone came to fruition, which makes it just a million times more charming.
Yeah, Warner Brothers missed out.
Yeah.
Now it's a Fox movie.
Yep. And
We're
I'm so happy. I put Eloise here because I love it. It's so good. It's just charming and nice, and I love Julie Andrews, and is beautiful and wonderful, and she just is like, she's not even like a huge part of the movie, but she is, because she's like a guardian basically, and this little girl is just so cute, and she's such a little butthole and she just runs amok in this hotel, and you wish as a kid you could do that. Like, you just want to have the run of the hotel and ride the elevator and, you know, get into all kinds of mischief, and like every kid wants that stupid adventure, and it's super cute, and she is spunky and goofy, and they're books. Like, these are actually books too. There's a whole series of them, and there's actually a bunch of other Eloise movies as well. And they're all very, very cute. And Julie Andrews can do no wrong in anything. And then White Christmas, because, yeah, enough said.
Yeah, enough said.
White Christmas.
Yeah.
Danny Kaye, Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, it's, I believe it is George Clooney's mother.
Yeah.
Rosemary Clooney is... I guess they're both blonde, but the bob, not the ponytail curls. The singer, not the dancer.
Yeah.
And then I have A Muppet Christmas Carol. Because
yeah, you
Muppets,
do.
Because Michael Caine, because songs, because Gonzo and Rizzo, because it's a freaking great version of this story.
Yeah.
Done. Great. Christmas.
All right. Maximum Christmas for me is the Charlie Brown Christmas. A very Charlie Brown Christmas. I mean, just for the sheer value that it gave me some of the best Christmas music to listen to ever.
It does.
And we all listen to it, and like it's great. But also like them coming back around and actually appreciating him just for one
moment.
Just for a moment.
Yeah.
Kind of gives you hope that like you'll have that moment too. And if there's gonna be that time, it's Christmas. Then I have the classic cartoon of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, because that story doesn't really need to be any longer than that.
No, it's
as much as I like the Jim Carrey one, like it's I like it just fine. If you're gonna do a theatrical like I said, that's probably the best that it could turn out. But really, the story doesn't need to be any more than just what the cartoon brings to the table. Do you need a reason for everything? Well, no, because there's not much more reason than what they tell you.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Christmas.
He doesn't like Christmas.
Okay. There are people in real life that don't like Christmas.
Yeah.
And can they always tell you why? No. Fine. Cool. I get it. But I appreciate the simplicity of just in and out. Was it 14 minutes?
Yeah, it's
16
really
minutes?
Short. In
and out, done, lesson learned, we're good to go. Very simple. Also, gave us the fa, who, for. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Speaking of good music, Nightmare Before Christmas is up on here. The dangers of appropriating other people's holidays and traditions for your own. Maybe a little ahead of its time.
It's a good movie. It's such a good movie. The music is good.
It is also a very simple movie. It does not need to be a minute longer than it actually is. No. Because really and truly, like, once they've set up the basic premise, it's like an hour and 10 minutes. It's pretty quick. Yeah. It's a pretty breezy watch because it doesn't. And honestly, I'm like, you could cut Sally's song out of the movie if you wanted. It's the height of the movie. He's off. He's doing the thing that we've all been excited / dreading because he's off to ruin Christmas. And we kill the mood with Sally whining about not getting enough attention from Jack. Even if you had to have the song in there, because I like Catherine O'Hara, did you really need to put it at that part of the movie?
Who also did more Christmas movies. Thank you, Home Alone.
Yeah, you did other Christmas movies. She could have been singing it while she was making the little gift bag for him. Yeah. That would have been fine. But whatever. Not to bitch
Still
on the movie.
Really good movie.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, super
Music's
charming.
Really good.
Yeah. It's emblematic. And then I have Jingle All the Way. Never let it be said that I don't like stupid shit, because this is one of my favorite Christmas movies to watch. It is awful.
It is awful, but
and
it's
I
wonderful.
can't turn away from it.
It's great.
Something about the glee and the sheer unapologetic way that they go for it in that movie is really well appreciated. And again, like in Arnold too, like, you want to talk about somebody that has A++ charisma on screen. For him to pull off like R-rated sci-fi action flicks and then do this and come out completely not just unscathed, but like you don't lose respect for him.
No,
you're just like, that was super fun.
Kindergarten Cop too,
and
which
you
I love.
Still enjoy, Jake Lloyd sucks. He's a bad actor in this movie. I hope he's doing fine with his life now, because it was rough after Phantom Menace, but oh my god, is he the worst. Yeah. And then I have Home Alone, the original. Emphatically like drowning in Christmas, but never is really like, it doesn't really stop to preach just Christmas. It has a lot of heart to it, but it leads you to like eventually draw the conclusion like, oh, that's what Christmas is about, rather than just blowing it up in your face. Yeah. Then I have Muppet Christmas Carol. In fact, this one and the next one are arguably like number one. I go back and forth all the time. Muppet Christmas Carol is a perfect movie. I don't know how they managed to do it, but they managed to take a relatively short, simple like Christmas story, and they managed to actually like improve on it.
I love all the music in that
all
movie.
The music is great. All the jokes land.
Yeah.
Michael Caine has said that this is still like one of his favorite.
Like top.
Yeah, it's one of his top performances, like things he ever worked on. That director had never done anything before. It was their first try at a like movie.
Yeah, big movie.
And they absolutely hit. I said earlier that like it's hard for me, like I have to be invested from beginning to end. This one I'm into it from the word go.
Yeah, from the minute the credits start.
Yeah. It is partially the real sets. It's partially the real stuff I'm looking at. It's partially because I'm seeing a real thing, but also like something about like timing, pace, jokes, mood, atmosphere. The ghosts are all really creative.
Super good,
and they all hit really well.
Yep.
The Ghost from Christmas Past always gets
the
doll thing. Doll. I think that they filmed that thing underwater and then just
because she is so
the
like
way it
floating
moves.
and ethereal and
I'm like, there's no way that was done with like puppetry. It was probably something underwater that they filmed and then digitally removed the water.
Yeah, because she is cool.
But yeah, it looks like she's just it looks really good. The effect when Ghost of Christmas Present shrinks down. Like, I'm still like, I'm not totally sure how they did that. There's something magical about that.
And he is so good.
Yes, he's great.
He's my favorite.
And then, of course, like, Christmas Vacation. Like, the most realistic Christmas movie, I think, ever.
Love it.
Especially as I get older, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's my aunt, whatever. Or that's my cousin, whatever. Like, every time.
Yeah.
But it's also, like, not afraid to just stop and let stuff happen and breathe and let you really soak it in.
And laugh.
And laugh. Like when he's just sitting there watching, when he's stuck in the attic.
Yeah.
That's a prime time for jokes. And there is still some.
And when he falls through, he's just standing on the bunk bed.
Well, when he stands on the bunk bed, or he keeps smacking himself in the face with the boards over and over. But they also give you a second to just kind of sit there and watch him.
Home movies.
Yeah, just kind of get emotional over like nostalgia and things like that. You're like, oh.
Why
nice. He
originally wanted to have the whole family there, and then they all come back, and he realizes it's still a bad idea.
Yeah, it's still a bad idea. Times aren't the same. Yeah. It's hilarious on top of all that.
Funny.
Like I know Chevy Chase is a huge asshole, and no one likes to work with him. But it is the best vacation movie.
Yeah.
Every time that I put the movie on, and it starts with the opening credits. And that whole like I just get I'm like
the
glued. I'm
and the little
glued
animated
to it.
Santa.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's really good.
It's a blend of nostalgia and genuine appreciation for how they kind of nailed how real that movie is.
Basically from like the first 3 tiers, I'm pretty much guaranteed to watch all of those movies. during
December.
During December.
Yeah. I noticed that your list starts, if you look at it from the bottom up, there's very little that like you don't like, and then it gets bigger and more open, and like I love all of these movies, and mine starts with like like bigger, like it's got my list has a big ass.
Yes.
Because from the bottom up, it's like
I definitely am into. I'll always watch like a feel good. It doesn't have to be Christmas either. Like, if it's a feel good kind of like heartwarming type of story, to an extent, I'm always in to watch it. Like, I am not like, I do like some of the Hallmark movies, but like you know what you're getting with Hallmark.
Yeah, you can usually call those shots before they.
In fact, like my dad and I won Christmas a few years ago. We were up so late. I can't remember why. I think we were just awake, and we were just sitting on the couch, and all the Hallmark movies are on, and so we just turned them on, and we were like guessing plot points as they were happening, or like, okay, what do you think is gonna happen? Okay, what do you think the conflict is? And we would just sit there, we would guess them, and like I would say 90% of the time we were spot on. Yeah. But they're so fun. They have their place, but yeah, it was like all of these movies, all of them, like first 3 tiers at least, I am pretty much guaranteed to watch at least once over the holidays. And even then, like, there's no, I mean, okay, there are some that like I will actively just like not watch. Like, I won't watch Jack Frost. I just don't care. And
you could be doing laundry in that time.
Yeah,
I could be doing anything else.
Yeah, I won't watch the third Santa Claus because I just don't care. But any of the other ones, I'm like, yeah, if it's on, if whatever, like, I'll definitely watch it. I've watched a few of these movies several times already, just because I like them and I like.
Which means Christmas. I have also watched them a couple of times.
Not all of them.
No.
Sometimes I watch them when you're not here.
Yeah, it's true.
Christmas. Well, thanks for watching our tier list. If you think of any other Christmas movies that you think of that you absolutely have to watch during the holidays, feel free to comment them. Especially like if it's one on here that like we've not seen, please feel free. Like if there's one you're like, no, you gotta watch it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful holiday, no matter how you celebrate it. If you don't celebrate it, whatever you do to make yourself happy during this time, and I hope it's good and pleasant and safe, and I hope you're with people that you love safely. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all of the things.
Yeah.
And we will see you.
Merry Chrysler.
Merry Chrysler. And we can say the joke. We'll see you next year.
Yeah, we'll see you next year.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
We're assholes.
Oh, don't forget to like it and follow me on Instagram and Facebook too.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Chrysler.
I almost put Iron Man 3 on the list.
It's listed in freaking HBO Max.
Yep.